Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're like me and you're very excited for the next Infamous game, you might actually just want to sit down and prepare to hear some bad news. It's quite possible that Infamous might not live to see another year. Now, the reason I say this is because Zach was kind enough to give me a link that was given to him by someone else to a NeoGAF post, and this NeoGAF post is part of a thread. The post itself is made by none other than Shinobi602. Now, if you know anything about gaming, speculation in particular, you know who Shinobi602 is. He has predicted a lot of things that have come true in the gaming world. He predicted Days Gone before it was announced. He predicted Last of Us Part 2, apparently. I don't really know that story too well. And he also predicted that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was going to have a space setting and space combat, which obviously is very true. So basically, this guy knows what he's talking about and is a very credible source for leaks and rumors. And towards the middle of this post, he just randomly, nonchalantly says, Sucker Punch is on a new IP. Now let me provide some context around this post and what is going on in the entire thread so you understand why he said that. This thread was about Scalebound, which is an Xbox One exclusive IP that has recently been canceled, along with apparently a lot more IPs for the Xbox One that have been canceled. In this post, Shinobi is trying to explain why Microsoft doesn't take risks with new IPs. He also compares Microsoft to Sony and explains why Sony does take risks with new IPs and they're successful at it.
I show you how to pick up some girls, maybe rescue some of our marked brethren?
I don't think so. I still feel safer in here.
Come on, man. You keep staying down here and playing angels and demons, you're never gonna get laid.
He uses Horizon Zero Dawn, the new God of War, and The Last of Us as examples. He says, you need to allow your teams to branch out and take risks creatively. That's how you grow a brand and ecosystem and new fan base. Sony does this and it's evident. One of their flagship studios, known for FPS games, that would be Guerrilla Games, was allowed to take 5 years off and build a new genre of game with a female protagonist and robot dinosaurs, clearly Horizon Zero Dawn. That is a risk because you have an established series in Killzone. You have established fans who like Killzone, and by leaving that series, you could possibly lose all those fans. Sony takes that risk, Microsoft doesn't. He also says that Naughty Dog was allowed to make a new IP that was The Last of Us and obviously was a success. So he's trying to explain why taking risks with new IPs is good and why Microsoft is failing because they don't take that risk. So when he's giving examples of Sony making new IPs, he just randomly says, oh yeah, by the way, Sucker Punch is making a new IP. So is Bend Studios. And it's just like, wait a minute. You put that there on purpose. You didn't just slip that in and not realize that you said it. You put that there knowing that people would read it and talk about it. And now it's reached me and Zach, who are, once again, don't mean to brag, arguably the biggest infamous YouTubers out here right now. So what the hell is going on, Sucker Punch? You make Second Son, which is actually a hit. The game sold 1 million copies in the first month it was out. It was probably the most popular Infamous game in the series, but there was also a lot of people who hated it. It was a very split and divided game. This is so weird, because Second Son was a success from a business point of view, right? It sold 1 million copies in the first month, it was very popular, people liked it, but there was also a lot of people who didn't like it. And so now I feel like Sucker Punch is saying to themselves, we don't really know where to take the series next, so we're just gonna fuck it and make something new. Because that's what they did with Sly Cooper. They basically just abandoned Sly Cooper, made Infamous, which the first game was fantastic. They threw Sly over to Sanzaru Games, who made a very crappy final sequel to the game, Thieves in Time. And I feel like Sucker Punch is better at starting a series than they are at finishing it. You know, Sly Cooper. They basically abandoned Sly Cooper, and they moved on to Infamous. Infamous 1 was great. The story, top-notch. The powers were awesome. Do you guys remember the power when you reached full evil or full good karma? you could trade in some of your karma in order to have unlimited energy for like 30 seconds or something, and you could go on a rampage and not lose any of your stored up power. That was an awesome ability. What happened to that? Infamous 2 came around and it was a watered down version of the first game. You have to admit that. Regardless of how much you might like Infamous 2, I like it too, even though I complained a lot about it. It was ultimately a very watered down version of what the first game was. Second Son came out and it was just straight down the waterfall into the pit of hell, because that game took away everything that made Infamous infamous. And if you're a new fan of this series and you never played the first 2 games, then you probably disagree with me a lot, but trust me, as a longtime fan of the series, Second Son is not a true Infamous game when you look at how the series started. So if Sucker Punch and Sony decide to put Infamous on the shelf and leave it to collect dust, we owe the series as fans, as passionate, hardcore fans. We owe it something. We have to keep it alive somehow, whether it's through fan creations, art, fan videos, something. Hell, you guys are going to think I'm absolutely batshit crazy for what I'm about to say. But if I have to find a way to pull a Disney and buy the franchise rights off of Sony for Infamous, I will goddamn do it. I'm pretty sure at this point we can all agree that myself and even a lot of you guys in the comments have better ideas for where this series should go than Sucker Punch does. I mean, if they're making a new IP, they clearly don't know what to do with their own series. So wouldn't that be nice if we could just take the IP and buy it off of Sony and then make our own Infamous content and make it official canon and do what we want to with the series, do what we think is right? That would be fantastic, and it would be a dream come true. If that does happen, it'd be a dream come true if we could actually have that right to own Infamous. You guys probably think I'm fucking nuts now. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you this news and this story, and yeah, hopefully this isn't true, but I have a really bad feeling about this.